Aliens mistakenly called humanity for help. And a fleet arrived, reaches its breathtaking climax, as Earth and Drillian forces unite against overwhelming Dravax warships. When Dr. Takashi discovers the alien hive mind's weakness, Admiral Grant broadcasts the silent requiem, disrupting their coordination. In the chaos, Commander Zira sacrifices her ship's escape capability to save thousands, redirecting a massive Dravax vessel into its own command ship in a catastrophic collision. The silver-blue hull of the Aurora's light quivered as Commander Zira stared through the viewscreen at the vast emptiness of space beyond Drengus. Her luminous hexagonal eyes reflected the soft glow of the control panel, worry lines creasing her crystalline blue skin. "First Officer Tarek, status of the dual-wave beacon?" she asked, her voice tight with tension. Tarek's slender fingers danced across the control interface, leaving trails of light in their wake. "Final frequency calibration at 98%. Commander, the beacon will be ready to transmit in approximately 3 minutes." Zira nodded, trying to keep her composure as memories of the Merrill Colony massacre flooded back. 20 years ago, her parents had died defending Line of Defense X-12 when the Dravax launched their surprise attack. She had been only 12, but the image of her homeworld's defense shield failing, the screams echoing through emergency channels as the Dravax drones swarmed through, it was all still vivid. "Commander," Tarek said, interrupting her thoughts, "the Guardian priests have sent another transmission. They're questioning our decision to reach out beyond our system." Zira's jaw tightened. "Tell them our scout ships have confirmed Dravax movement at our borders. After 30 years of false peace, they're preparing for something big. If we don't call for reinforcements, our homeworld will perish." The ship's communication officer, a younger Drillian named Vela, looked up from her station. "Incoming report from the Border Patrol. 3 more Dravax vessels detected performing long-range scans of the Behan sector. The Matria clan settlements are at risk." Zira's heart sank. The Matria clan, the last remaining Drillian stronghold in the neighboring system. Her extended family resided there. First, the border. Now this. "We have no choice," she said firmly. "The Interstellar Peace Alliance is our only hope. The dual-wave beacon must be activated now." Tarek hesitated, his inner conflict evident. The traditional beliefs of their people valued self-reliance, but their technology was no match for the Dravax war machine. "Commander, the frequency calibration for the Alliance beacon is complex. We've had no direct contact with them for decades." "I am aware of the risks," Zira replied. "But we've studied their communication protocols from the ancient contacts archives. This is our best chance." She placed her 3-fingered hand over the activation console. The crystalline surface responded to her touch, illuminating with a soft, aquamarine glow. "Energy signature locked," Tarek confirmed. "Ready to transmit?" Zira took a deep breath. "If we can't call for reinforcements, our home is doomed. Activate the dual-wave beacon." Her finger pressed down on the pulsing interface. A brilliant beam of light shot forth from the Aurora's light, combining luminous waves with ultra-long sound frequencies, the distinctive Drillian transmission technology. The pulsed wave streaked through the darkness of space, aimed at what they believed were the coordinates for the Interstellar Peace Alliance. What they didn't know was that their signal, due to a significant language and encoding difference, had been inadvertently transmitted on the emergency rescue frequency used exclusively by Earth Alliance. The signal was already speeding toward Earth, 62 light-years away. "Beacon activated," Tarek announced. "Now we wait and hope someone answers." Zira watched the energy signature fade into the distance, unaware that their distress call was about to bring an unexpected ally to their aid. On Earth's moon, within the gleaming command center, known as the Lunar Beacon, alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. Lieutenant Sato, jolted upright at her monitoring station as red warning lights bathed the room. "Captain Young, priority alert on rescue frequency 7 beta," she called out, her fingers rapidly working the holographic interface. "Transmission origin unknown, but it's carrying data packets." Captain Marcus Young strode to the center of the bridge, his weathered face illuminated by the emergency lights. "Analysis? Processing now, sir. We have coordinates, some visual data, and what appears to be a message in an unfamiliar language." Lieutenant Sato's eyes widened as the translation matrix struggled to decipher the alien message. "Sir, I think it's a distress call." The main view screen flickered to life, displaying a fragmented video, a planetary dome engulfed in smoke, sleek black ships surrounding it, and a brief glimpse of crystalline blue humanoids in what appeared to be a desperate battle. "Alert Admiral Grant and the United Earth Security Council," Captain Young ordered, "and get Dr. Takashi from Linguistics here immediately." Within the hour, the United Earth Security Council convened an emergency session. Admiral Sarah Grant, her silver-streaked hair pulled back in a tight bun, stood before the projected star map, highlighting the source of the transmission. "The signal originates from the Drenga system, approximately 62 light-years from Earth," she explained. "Based on our preliminary analysis, we're dealing with a species called the Drelian, who appear to be under attack from an aggressive force known as the Dravax." Counselor Markowicz, representing the diplomatic division, leaned forward with skepticism etched on his face. "Admiral, the Drelian are an obscure species with minimal presence in our quadrant. How can we be certain this isn't a ruse? Perhaps they're attempting to use us against their traditional enemies." Dr. Akira Takashi, Earth's foremost xenolinguist and polyglot, cleared his throat. "While approximately 30% of the message is corrupted or mistranslated, the core content is clear. Their transmission reads, 'Help us, Dravax killing our people, homeland doomed.'" He activated a secondary hologram. "More importantly, our archives show evidence of contact between Earth and the Drelian approximately 300 years ago, during the pre-Peace Council era. The language markers match those in the annals of ancient contacts." Admiral Grant nodded. "Additionally, our strategic databases have long classified the Dravax as a red-level threat. They're a hive mind species with aggressive expansion tendencies." "Even so," Counselor Markowicz countered, "committing significant resources to rescue a civilization with less than 0.2% of Earth's population seems questionable. What's the strategic benefit?" Admiral Grant's expression hardened. "If we stand by while the Dravax consume Drengus, they'll only grow stronger. We might be next on their list. And beyond strategic considerations, there's a moral imperative. The Drelian once shared valuable astrophysics data with early Earth scientists. We owe them this much." After hours of heated debate, the Council finally reached its decision. The Hope's Vanguard fleet, consisting of the dreadnought Star of Hope, 5 carriers, 12 cruisers, 20 destroyers, 10 frigates, and 15 support vessels, would depart within 3 hours to provide emergency assistance. As the Council adjourned, Admiral Grant approached Dr. Takashi. "How confident are you about the translation?" The linguist's expression was somber. "The message is genuine, Admiral, but there's something unusual about the transmission frequency. It's as if they weren't specifically calling us, more like we happened to be listening on the right channel at the right moment." "Coincidence or fate," Admiral Grant replied. "We're the ones who heard their call, and we're the ones who will answer." Back at Lunar Beacon, preparations for the rescue mission moved at a frenetic pace. Engineers performed final checks on the jump drives, while reconnaissance teams analyzed satellite data for any additional signals from Drengus. Chief Engineer Marina Liu approached Admiral Grant with concern etched on her face. "Admiral, we've prepared the Mark Twainth jump drives for the journey. But I must caution you, the coordinates are at the extreme edge of our confirmed mapping. There's a small but non-negligible risk of navigation error." "Understood, Chief. But every hour we delay means more Drelian lives lost. Admiral Grant replied, "The risk is necessary." As the Earth fleet assembled in lunar orbit, Captain Young stood on the bridge of the Star of Hope, watching the final preparations. "Jump pods forming up, Admiral," he reported as Grant took her place at the command chair. "All vessels report ready, sir," Lieutenant Singh added from Tactical. Admiral Grant surveyed the assembled fleet, humanity's finest ships and bravest crews, about to embark on a mission that could alter the course of interstellar relations forever. "Fleet command to all vessels," she announced, her voice carrying across all ships. "Our mission is clear. Reach Drengus, ascertain the situation, and render aid against the Dravax threat. These people have called for help, and Earth answers. Prepare for jump sequence." The massive engines of the Earth fleet began to glow with brilliant, blue-white energy. In formation, they accelerated toward the jump point, where space itself would fold to carry them across the vast distance. As the first ships vanished into the swirling portal of the jump drive, Admiral Grant could not shake the feeling that they were heading towards something far more significant than a simple rescue mission. The jump space enveloped the Earth fleet in its eerie blue glow. On the bridge of the Star of Hope, the usual calm of jump travel was interrupted by an urgent call from engineering. "Admiral!" Chief Engineer Liu's voice carried tension even through the comm system. "We're detecting a frequency anomaly in the jump space. There's a deviation of approximately 0.05 Hz from our calculated coordinates." Lieutenant Singh looked up from the navigation console, his expression grave. "If we maintain this course, we'll emerge too close to the Drengus system perimeter, potentially right in the path of Dravax sensor vessels." "How much time do we have to correct?" Admiral Grant asked, her eyes fixed on the swirling patterns of jump space displayed on the main view screen. "Less than 2 minutes before jump exit is locked in," Liu replied. "We can compensate, but it will cost us about 2% of our defensive power reserves to execute the emergency correction." "Do it," Grant ordered without hesitation. "Better to arrive slightly weakened than to emerge in the middle of an enemy patrol." As the engineering team worked frantically to adjust the jump frequency, the ship's AI, Ada, initiated auto-correction algorithms. The fleet's formation trembled slightly as the adjustment took hold. "Correction applied," Liu confirmed. "New exit coordinates locked. We'll emerge near Draco 7th, an uninhabited system just outside Drengus proper." Meanwhile, aboard the Aurora's Light, Commander Zira maintained position outside Drengus's atmosphere, continuously broadcasting their distress signal. The Drelian crew worked in tense silence, all too aware of the Dravax patrols that had increased in both frequency and boldness over the past days. "Commander," Tarek reported, "our long-range scanners show Dravax activity intensifying in Sector 12. They've deployed 5 more bombardment corvettes." Zira studied the tactical display with growing concern. "They're testing our atmospheric defenses, using the ladder strike pattern. First the corvettes to probe our shields, then the battle dreadnoughts to punch through." She turned to face her first officer, no longer bothering to hide her anxiety. "Tarek, if reinforcements don't arrive within 8 hours, we'll need to consider evacuating the capital." "And go where?" Tarek asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "The Behan sector is already under surveillance, and the Matria clan settlements are vulnerable." Before Zira could respond, alarm signals flashed across the control panels. "Dravax interceptors approaching," called out the tactical officer. 2 escort vessels, closing fast." "Evasive maneuvers," Zira commanded, sliding into the pilot's seat. "Redirect power to forward shields." The Aurora's light banked sharply, its engines flaring as it dove beneath the approaching Dravax vessels. Energy bolts, NIDs as the Drelian called them, streaked past the viewport, illuminating the cabin with flashes of deadly light. Zira's hands danced across the controls, guiding the ship through a series of tight turns and rolls. The Drelian vessel was more maneuverable than the Dravax interceptors, but they had the advantage in firepower. "They're herding us toward the nebula," Tarek warned, as a nid blast rocked the ship. "Exactly where we want to go," Zira replied with grim determination. "Prepare the sonic disruptors. When I give the word, fire a pulse directly into the nebula gas." As they approached the edge of the She-17 nebula, a sprawling cloud of neon gas that partially obscured this section of the Drengus system, Zira executed a sharp reverse thrust, causing the pursuing Dravax ships to overshoot their position. Now! The Aurora's light fired its unique Drilian weapon, a sonic pulse that, when combined with the nebula's composition, created a blinding flash of light and a shockwave that momentarily disabled the Dravax vessel's guidance systems. "Scan them while they're disabled," Zira ordered. "I want to know what we're dealing with." Tarek worked quickly at the sensor array. "Confirming Wraith 2 technology. Thermal decoupling shield matrix. They've upgraded since the last encounter." Zira's expression darkened. The Dravax were evolving their technology faster than anticipated. Their only real hope now lay with the signal they had sent, and whether anyone had received it. "Send an encrypted message to the High Council," she decided. "Recommend that they authorize a time jump to Earth coordinates. We need to verify if our signal was received, and we can't afford to wait." Tarek looked up in surprise. "A time jump? That would require nearly all our remaining power reserves. If we miscalculate, if we do nothing, the Dravax will overwhelm us within days." Zira countered. "We must be bold. Tarek, our ancestors didn't survive by hiding in the shadows." As the Drilian ship slipped deeper into the nebula's protective embrace, Zira gazed out at the swirling gases, thoughts of her parents and their sacrifice weighing heavily on her mind. Would she be remembered as the commander who saved her people, or as the one who led them to their final defeat? Back at Lunar Beacon, Dr. Takashi and his team had been working tirelessly to decode more of the Drilian transmission. "Admiral, we've isolated something interesting," he reported to Grant via secure channel. "There are recurring patterns in the data that suggest at least 3 Drilian scout ships are patrolling the outer boundaries of their system. We've identified what appears to be their insignia, a blue circle surrounding 2 silver light bands." "That supports the theory they're under surveillance or blockade," Grant replied. "They wouldn't maintain that patrol pattern unless they felt threatened." "Exactly. And there's more. The movement patterns of these scouts suggest they're operating under restricted communication protocols. They're being watched but are still trying to send signals. That speaks to genuine desperation." In the council chambers, debate continued about the scale of Earth's commitment. "We're risking significant resources on an uncertain alliance," one counselor argued. "How do we know they'll reciprocate if Earth ever needs assistance?" Admiral Grant's response was firm. "The value of allies isn't measured in population size or military strength alone. It's measured in trust and knowledge. The Drilian shared crucial astrophysics data with us centuries ago when they had no obligation to do so. That knowledge helped advance our understanding of stellar mechanics by decades." As the Earth fleet emerged from jump space near Draco 7th, alert systems immediately detected Dravax energy signatures in the vicinity. "Multiple contacts, bearing 047 Mark 12, Lieutenant Singh reported. "Dravax signature confirmed. They appear to be running silent, possibly a stealth patrol." Admiral Grant studied the tactical display. "Keep our distance. We don't want to engage until we've made contact with the Drilian. Set course for Drengus. Maximum stealth protocols." As the Earth fleet cautiously navigated toward Drengus, Zira received the High Council's response to her request. The Drilian leaders were divided. The conservative faction insisted on maintaining defensive positions around Drengus, while the progressive faction supported her plan to make direct contact with Earth. After hours of tense deliberation, authorization for the time jump was granted, but with a critical condition. If Earth had not received their signal, or was unwilling to help, Zira was to return immediately to assist with the evacuation of key population centers. "Temporal jump protocol activated," Tarek announced, as the Aurora's lights engines began the complex sequence that would propel them through accelerated space-time toward Earth. Course locked on Earth coordinates. As the Drelian ship disappeared into the shimmering portal of the time jump, the Earth fleet sensors detected the unusual energy signature. Admiral, we're picking up a massive energy spike from the direction of Drengus, Lieutenant Sato reported. It appears to be some form of jump technology, but unlike anything in our database. Someone's coming to find us, Grant murmured. Battle stations. Let's hope they're friendly. The Aurora's light exploded into normal space with a flash of blue-white energy, the temporal jump leaving its systems temporarily strained. Warning lights flashed across the control panels as the Drelian vessel struggled to stabilize. Jump complete, Tarek announced, his voice shaking slightly. Systems recovering. Location confirmed. We've arrived at the Earth system. Zira stared in awe at the view screen. Before them hung the blue-white marble of Earth, the gray orb of its moon, and, most startlingly, the imposing silhouette of a massive vessel that dwarfed their scout ship. The Star of Hope loomed like a metallic mountain, energy fields shimmering around its hull. "Infinite light preserve us," Tarek whispered, using the traditional Drelian prayer. We've emerged directly alongside an Earth warship. Alarms blared across both vessels. On the Lunar Theta Defense Station, Captain Marcus Young shouted orders as red alert signals bathed the command center in crimson light. Unidentified vessel has violated jump safety protocols. Shields up, weapons on standby. Hail them immediately. Commander Zira's hands trembled as she realized the gravity of their situation. Tarek, broadcast on all frequencies. Use the translation matrix we prepared. The Drelian message echoed across the communication channels. We, Drelian people, seek aid. Dravax surround homeworld. Please help us. Aboard the Star of Hope. Admiral Grant received the transmission with cautious optimism. Dr. Takashi, can you make sense of this? The Xenolinguist's translation algorithms quickly processed the message. It's simplified, but clear enough. Help us. Dravax attacking, sanctuary lost. Commander Jack Moreno viewed the small crystalline ship with suspicion. Is this a Drelian reconnaissance vessel? Are they genuinely in danger? Or is this some elaborate Dravax trap? Zira, sensing their hesitation, transmitted again, more desperately. Not deception. Signal was true, trust me. Admiral Grant considered the situation carefully. The Council had authorized this mission based on the distress call, but caution was still warranted. Deploy the Unity Labs translation team on a pontoon shuttle. Let's establish proper communication before we proceed further. Dr. Takashi and his team of 3 linguistic officers boarded the rapid response pontoon, equipped with the advanced Polyglot X AI translator. As they approached the Drelian vessel, sensors detected unusual data embedded in the Aurora's light's transmission buffer. There's fragmented information about something called Dravax Shield, Phase 2, Dr. Takashi reported. It appears to be weapons technology we've never encountered before. More significantly, the team confirmed that the Drelian language patterns matched those in the ancient records. There's conclusive evidence that a group of Drelian travelers made contact with Earth approximately 300 years ago. These could be their descendants, seeking to reconnect. Meanwhile, aboard the Aurora's light, First Officer Tarek was engaged in a private communication with the Guardian priests through a secondary channel. The ancient texts warn against trusting species that embraced warfare in their adolescence. The priest's message read, Earth's history is stained with conflict. Can we truly trust them? Tarek glanced at Zira, who was focused intently on establishing communication with the approaching Earth shuttle. The priests counsel caution, he said quietly. They believe we should not reveal too much about our defenses. Zira shook her head. If I'm wrong, our entire system will die. We need their help, Tarek, regardless of what the priests believe. As the translation team established a rudimentary communication link, Admiral Grant proposed a joint exercise to test their compatibility. We'll conduct a small-scale cooperative drill in lunar space, 5 Drelian scout ships alongside 2 Earth interceptors, simulating an approach against Dravex forces. Zira agreed, eager to demonstrate Drelian capabilities and to assess Earth's military technology firsthand. Soon, 5 small Firefly-class scout ships joined 2 Pacer-class interceptors in the shadow of the moon. The exercise immediately revealed significant technological differences. The Drelian ships relied on plasma sonar for navigation and targeting, while Earth vessels used electromagnetic pulse (EMP) radar systems. Despite Unity AI assistance, 2 Drelian scouts veered off course, descending too close to the surface of Luna Minor. Disaster nearly struck when a Dravax orbital ship, having somehow tracked the Aurora's light, suddenly appeared in pursuit. The Earth interceptors responded instantly, launching plasma torpedoes that destroyed the Dravax vessel before it could target the wayward Drelian scouts. Observing the action from the Aurora's light, Zira felt a mixture of gratitude and humility. "Their weapons technology far exceeds our own," she admitted to Tarek. "We don't fully understand their battle language, but their effectiveness is undeniable." The successful defense led to a heated exchange between Zira and Captain Young during the debriefing. "The Drelian need to respect Earth's military capabilities," Young insisted bluntly. "Don't expect to fight independently without learning our protocols." Zira's hexagonal eyes flashed with indignation. "Our world fights not just with weapons, Captain, but with heart and faith. We will prove our worth." Before the argument could escalate further, alarm signals blared across both fleets. Satellite data indicated unusual radiation frequencies from the direction of Drengus, and long-range sensors detected approximately 20 Dravax battle-mechanized vessels preparing to launch from the dark side of the system. "We have incoming," Admiral Grant announced grimly. "Between 20 and 30 Dravax vessels of the Bragg-Leach cruiser class are advancing toward Earth space." Zira and Young stood together on the observation deck, their previous disagreement forgotten as they faced the approaching threat. "We must stop them," Zira said quietly, determination replacing fear in her voice. "Even if only for a minute." Young nodded, newfound respect in his eyes. "Then we fight together." The L1 space station, positioned at the gravitational midpoint between Earth and its moon, became the focal point of the Allied defense strategy. Admiral Grant coordinated the deployment of Earth's formidable fleet: 1 dreadnought, 2 carriers, 6 cruisers, 15 destroyers, 8 frigates, and 12 support vessels. Alongside them, the Drelian forces seemed modest but determined: 5 interceptor-class warships, 10 scout ships, and 3 support vessels. Together, they faced the approaching Mordax fleet, an upgraded version of the traditional Dravax forces. 20 battle-mechanized cruisers led the assault, followed by 10 heavy carrier drones, 15 fighter swarms, and 5 war leviathans, massive dreadnoughts that pulsed with dark energy. "Battle formations established," Commander Moreno reported from the Star of Hope's tactical station. "Drelian vessels integrated into quadrants 3 and 4. Admiral Grant nodded, her expression resolute. "All ships, prepare to engage. Remember, we're not just defending Earth, we're fighting for Drengus as well." The battle began with a devastating barrage from the Dravax fleet. Dual reactor beams lanced out from their lead vessels, destroying 3 Earth reconnaissance satellites in rapid succession. "They're targeting our surveillance network," Lieutenant Singh observed. "Trying to blind us." "Counter with plasma burst barrage," Admiral Grant ordered. "Focus on their forward shield generators." Earth's fleet responded with a coordinated attack, multiple ships firing simultaneously at designated weak points in the Dravax cruiser's defenses. The plasma bursts broke through the outer shields of 2 enemy vessels. But the victory was short-lived. Swarms of autonomous drones detached from the Dravax carriers, overwhelming the point defense systems of the Earth destroyers. "Drone swarms approaching from Vector 320, Lieutenant Sato warned. "They're targeting our engine cores." Zira, commanding the Aurora's light alongside two Drelian warships, saw an opportunity. Earth vessels, clear a path through Sector 7. We'll deploy the tetrasonic blast. Without waiting for confirmation, the three Drelian ships accelerated directly into the line of fire, positioning themselves within range of three battle-mechanized cruisers. Energy signatures built along their hulls as they prepared their unique weapon, a combination of ultra-long sound waves and plasma light that created a devastating feedback loop. Tetrasonic blast activated, Tarek announced, his fingers dancing across the controls. Target locked. The Drelian ships released their sonic light weapons simultaneously. Visible ripples of energy spread outward, intersecting with the Dravax shields. Where they connected, the enemy shields vibrated like ice sheets about to crack, their frequency disrupted by the Drelian technology. "It's working!" Zira exclaimed, as the outer shields of all three Dravax cruisers collapsed. Admiral Grant seized the advantage. "All ships in range. Concentrate fire on those cruisers. Maximum yield." Earth's vessels unleashed a barrage of plasma torpedoes and quantum charges. Two Dravax cruisers exploded in brilliant fireballs, while the third listed heavily, its propulsion systems failing. The Dravax response was swift and merciless. 5 war Leviathans advanced, their massive weapon systems powering up. A salvo of destructive energy tore through space, targeting the Aurora's light and its companions. "Evasive maneuvers!" Zira shouted. But it was too late. One of the Drelian warships took a direct hit, its hull breaching instantly. Zira watched in horror as the vessel exploded, taking with it a crew of 30, including several officers she had known for years. "Tarek, status of our shields?" "Down to 30%, he replied grimly. "One more direct hit and we're finished." As the battle intensified around the L1 position, Dr. Takashi worked frantically aboard the Star of Hope, analyzing the sound plasma signatures from the Drelian weapons. "Admiral, I've detected a pattern in the Dravax response to the tetrasonic blast," he reported. "Their hive mind communications show momentary disruption when exposed to specific frequency combinations." Admiral Grant turned to him, hope flickering in her eyes. "Can we weaponize that disruption?" "Theoretically, yes. We could broadcast what I'm calling a silent requiem, a series of ultra-short frequency pulses designed to interfere with their collective consciousness." "How short?" Grant asked. 0.001 seconds per pulse. Too brief for human perception, but potentially devastating to their synchronized network. Grant didn't hesitate. "Do it. Broadcast on all available channels." Across the Earth fleet, communication arrays were repurposed to transmit the disruptive frequency pattern. The effect was not immediately visible, but within seconds. The coordinated movements of the Dravax vessels began to falter. Lights flickered across their hulls as internal systems struggled to maintain cohesion. "It's working!" Lieutenant Singh exclaimed. "Dravax vessels showing signs of coordination failure. Their fire patterns are becoming erratic." Several Dravax ships began firing at random, some even striking their companions. Taking advantage of the confusion, the combined Earth-Drelian fleet launched a coordinated assault against the war Leviathans. "All ships, target the lead Leviathans," Admiral Grant commanded. "Concentrate fire on their propulsion systems." 2 war Leviathans erupted into massive plasma spheres as the combined firepower of multiple Earth cruisers and Drelian warships overwhelmed their weakened defenses. The remaining Dravax vessels, having lost their central command structure, began firing chaotically or attempting to retreat. In the midst of the chaos, Zira spotted a damaged war Leviathan on a collision course with an Earth carrier. Without hesitation, she made a decision that would change the course of the battle. "Tarek, transfer all remaining power to forward thrusters," she ordered. "We're going to intercept that Leviathan." "Commander, the warp drive will be compromised," Tarek protested. "We won't have enough power to escape if—" "It doesn't matter," Zira cut him off. "That carrier has over 2,000 crew members. We can't let it be destroyed." With grim determination, Zira piloted the Aurora's light directly into the path of the war Leviathan, initiating a controlled warp drive fluctuation that created a localized disruption field. The massive Dravax vessel, already struggling with the effects of the silent requiem, veered off course, directly into the path of its own flagship. The resulting collision sent shockwaves across the battlefield as the Dravax command vessel erupted in a catastrophic explosion. For several moments, an eerie silence fell over the battlefield, broken only by the crackling of plasma discharges among the debris. Dr. Takashi's voice cut through the quiet. The hive mind disruption will only last about 3 minutes. They'll stabilize eventually, but for now, their command structure is in chaos. Admiral Grant nodded to Captain Moreno. We have 3 minutes. Throw everything we've got at them. The Earth fleet surged forward, weapons blazing as they pressed their advantage against the disoriented enemy. The aftermath of the battle left the void between Earth and its moon littered with debris. The Dravax forces had been decimated, 17 of their 20 battlecruisers destroyed, 4 war Leviathans reduced to plasma storms, and their drone swarms scattered and dysfunctional. Their command vessel, the War Core Nexus, remained largely intact but dormant, temporarily severed from the hive mind connection that powered it. The Alliance had paid a heavy price for victory. Earth had lost 3 destroyers, with 2 frigates severely damaged. 45% of the engaged crews had sustained injuries of varying severity. The Drelian losses were proportionally greater. 2 warships completely destroyed, 5 scout ships lost, and over half their flight crews killed in action. Aboard the remains of the Aurora's light, Commander Zira sat beside the body of a young Drelian soldier who had died from a plasma strike during the final moments of the battle. Silent tears traced luminous paths down her crystalline blue cheeks as she questioned the value of their sacrifice. Admiral Grant's voice came through the communication system. Commander Zira, we're dispatching medical teams to assist your injured. Hold position and prepare for emergency docking. Acknowledged, Admiral, Zira replied, her voice hollow with grief. We're holding position. This isn't over, Grant continued, her tone softening. We're bloodied, but if we retreat now, the Dravax will regroup and come back stronger. We need to establish a defensive perimeter and prepare for potential counterattacks. The hours following the battle saw an unprecedented collaboration between the 2 species. Earth's humanitarian division deployed supply ships, medical modules, and engineering teams to assist the damaged Drelian vessels. Dr. Aditi Rao, Earth's leading bionic medical specialist, worked alongside Drelian bioengineers to address the biological challenges posed by their different physiologies, particularly the Drelians' requirement for neon hydrogen atmospheric conditions. Not everyone embraced this newfound alliance. Among the Drelian, the Guardian Priests voiced concerns. The humans may have used the Dravax to test their battle tactics. They cannot be truly selfless. Zira, though still grieving, stood firmly against such suspicions. It was their scientific understanding that saved us. We cannot turn our backs on this alliance now. Within Earth's leadership, similar debates unfolded. Admiral Grant addressed the Council directly. The Drelians sacrificed their blood and ships to support us in this battle. They deserve our respect and partnership, not to be treated as pawns in a larger game against the Dravax. As the immediate crisis stabilized, efforts shifted toward establishing a more permanent alliance. At the Drengus L2 orbital position, Earth's command station Unity joined with the Drelian High Council to form joint military scientific agencies. The Interstellar Research Division, co-led by Dr. Takashi and Chief Bioengineer Saris Nal of Drengus, began investigating defensive measures against future Mordax attacks. Their initial focus was on refining the silent requiem technology to create longer-lasting disruptions to the hive mind network. Simultaneously, the Allied Strategy Council, represented by Admiral Grant and Commander Zira, developed comprehensive plans to protect both Drelian and Earth territories from Dravak's retaliation. Aboard the damaged Aurora's Light, Zira sat alone in her quarters, contemplating a small piece of jade-like material, the only remaining possession of her father, inscribed with ancient Drelian script that read, "Light guides us." "Dawn is coming," she whispered in her native tongue. "We will create a new dawn, not a sunset." On the Star of Hope, Admiral Grant reviewed the latest intelligence with her senior staff. The final Dravak signals indicate they're regrouping at position X-45. Our analysts believe they could launch another attack within 2 weeks. That's all the time we have to solidify this alliance. The two leaders, human and Drelian, were bound together by necessity and shared sacrifice, their determination eclipsing the fear that had initially driven them apart. As they prepared for the challenges ahead, a new era of cooperation began to take shape among the stars. The great crystalline dome of Aranan Prime, capital city of Drengus, shimmered with blue-white light as dignitaries from both worlds gathered in the ceremony hall. The vaulted ceiling adjusted its luminosity in response to atmospheric pressure, reflecting 1,000 colors across the assembled crowd. Drelian representatives from various clans filled most of the chamber, their emotions mixed, some still angry and grieving after the battle, others hopeful about the new alliance. Earth's delegation, consisting of 15 high-ranking officials including Admiral Grant, Dr. Takashi, and Dr. Rao, stood out with their distinct human features amidst the crystalline blue forms of their hosts. Council leader Sarix Nal, head of the Drelian High Council, approached the central podium. His voice, melodious yet powerful, carried throughout the hall. In these past 3 weeks, we have learned that strength is measured not merely by weapons, but by heart and mind. The Drelian pledged to stand with Earth toward a future of peace, no longer living in fear of the Dravak's shadow. Admiral Grant stepped forward when invited to speak, her formal uniform gleaming under the ceremonial lights. "Earth did not come to your aid seeking power in exchange. We respect the aspirations of the Drelian people and your belief in the infinite light. Today, I formally propose the Interstellar Rainbow Accord, establishing a military-scientific alliance of equals between our worlds." A murmur of approval rippled through the assembly, though some members of the Guardian Priests remained stoically silent. Commander Zira, still bearing visible injuries from the battle, made her way to the platform with measured steps. The hall fell silent as she prepared to speak. "Earth has taught us that in the darkness of space, no one need fight alone. Through this experience, I have learned that the strongest person is not the one who destroys the most, but the one who knows when to call for help and when to listen. Together, let us write a new chapter of history, where every civilization has the right to shine." The ceremony continued with the presentation of the Nexus of Unity medals, a symbolic gesture representing the newly forged bond between the two worlds. Admiral Sarah Grant received the first Alliance Medal, while Commander Zira was honored with the Heart of Courage recognition. Dr. Takashi received the Civilization Connection Medal, and both Dr. Aditi Rao and Sarix Nal were awarded the Biological Cooperation Medallion for their groundbreaking work in cross-species medical care. As the formal proceedings drew to a close, an urgent communication interrupted the celebration. The transmission originated from the Marilon system, 14 light-years from Drengus. "SOS, Level Crimson. We are under attack by an unknown fleet. Weapon signature shows white plasma and crystalline technology. The Star of Hope and Aurora's Light received immediate orders. Redirect fleet assets. Prepare for relief mission." Standing at the observation platform overlooking the ceremony hall, Zira and Grant exchanged determined glances. "We don't know how other species will respond when they see humans," Zira said quietly. "But I believe today's message, that we fight not for war, but for the future, will spread." Grant nodded. "Each time we save a civilization, we write a note of hope in the universe's song. Now we'll carry that melody to Marilon." Days later, the Aurora's Light launched from Drengus orbit, creating a shimmering trail of light as it joined the Earth formation. The Star of Hope, 3 destroyers, and 4 frigates providing escort. On the surface below, a young Drelian child of about 8 years watched the departing ships with wide, luminous eyes. "Mother," the child whispered, "I wish we could fly forever until there are no more Dravaks. I believe even they might change someday." Far away, in the cold emptiness of space, a damaged warcore nexus drifted among the debris of the battle. Though severely damaged, dark energy still pulsed around its core, signaling that the enemy was wounded but not defeated. Within the command chamber, a voice spoke through the universal translator in harsh, mechanical tones. "They will pay. But for now, at least." 2 civilizations that had been strangers just weeks before stood united against the darkness. The alliance forged in the crucible of battle would be tested again, but neither humans nor Drelians would face those challenges alone. In the grand tapestry of cosmic history, a simple mistaken distress call had changed the fate of 2 worlds forever. And as their combined fleet vanished into jump space, bound for new adventures and challenges, the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter in approval.